Have you heard of boutique hotel investing and wonder what the heck it means? You're not alone, and that's what I'm gonna break down for you today. And imagine being able to buy 10 or more short-term rental units all at once. That's essentially what boutique hotel investing is. They help you get more units faster, but what is it and how does it work? That's what we'll get into. Boiling down boutique hotel investing is probably easiest using an analogy because it is a big involved real estate investing strategy with a lot of variables. So I'll use an analogy that I think will resonate really well with you as a framework for getting into this discussion. So to start this out, I have a quick story for you to set the stage. I have a friend who buys a lot of traditional single family rentals, and he had so many at one point that the burden of all those deals and all those closings really started to add up. Then he realized if he just bought one multifamily property, he can make the same amount of money and potentially more compared to buying all those individual houses to rent out, and it'd be a lot easier to manage because they would all be together on one location. And that's when the light bulb clicked for him, and that's what he did. He started buying multifamilies. It was a lot easier. And buying boutique hotels is the same thesis, but in the short-term rental industry. If you're watching this, you've probably at least heard of Airbnb investing, where you buy a single family house and then you list it on Airbnb. But what if I told you there was a way you could do short-term rentals at scale, meaning you could make more and it's easier to manage by buying a property like a boutique hotel? So I like to think of boutique hotel investing as short-term rental investing, but with commercial properties instead of residential single-family houses. With commercial real estate, the larger number of units on a single property like a boutique hotel gives you better economies of scale than a traditional single-family house. And that scale provides a ton of benefits. Think of it, if you had a bunch of different individual houses, you'd have a bunch of different materials to replace when things break and different furnishings and decor in every single house. With a boutique hotel, all that is standardized across the whole property, which can lower your expenses and your operational burden. So for example, in multifamily real estate, you buy an older, underperforming building with a bunch of units, right? And then you renovate the property, and then you rent those units at a higher rental rate than when you bought it to long-term tenants. And within the entire commercial real estate umbrella, which multifamily properties are, when you increase the income of the property, you also increase the value of the property as well. Something we're going to talk about, and that's a big, big point. And with boutique hotels, you're doing the same thing. You buy a hotel or motel or maybe a cabin community, and then you rent those units as short-term rentals to your guests. And you can buy an old, ugly, poorly performing boutique hotel, renovate it and redesign it to make it really cool, and then increase your nightly rates and raise your income on the property, which, remember, as we mentioned, increases the entire value of your property. Then you can decide to refinance the property and hold it to keep for the steady cash flow coming in, or sell it for the profit and move on to the next deal. So you can see the high-level business model is the same between multifamily and boutique hotels and has the same benefit of scaling from residential houses up to commercial properties. It's just the difference between long-term rentals and short-term rentals and the scale at which you do it. So what exactly is a boutique hotel? So to me, a boutique hotel is a smaller, generally 50 units or under, independent hotel that focuses on elevated design and guest experience and is generally located in a trendy destination. Pretty simple, small, independent, unique. And where I see the most opportunity in this space right now, and where I'm focusing my energy, is in outdated, underperforming, mom and pop operated hotels that have value add potential, where you can come in and renovate and redesign the property, bring it online to Airbnb and Booking.com and the other OTAs, and create a professional direct booking website. And what I love about these older mom and pop owners is that they've held the properties for a long time. So they have little to no debt on the properties, and you can come in and structure a great seller financing offer that they're more than happy with, and it saves you from going to a bank and putting 25% or more down and paying 8 to 12% interest. 3 out of my 5 boutique hotels have been seller financed, and in every case, the opportunity has been on the table. So as you start making offers, keep that in mind, and you can get really great deals with potentially great financing. And I'll give you an example of one of my boutique hotel deals so you can see how the strategy plays out. So this hotel was a pig in mud when I bought it, but I had the vision and the understanding of how to take it from that old piece of crap and turn it into a really cool cash flowing property with the right strategy and the right renovation plan. So this is a property we picked up for $1.1 million and took it from under $200,000 of income to over $600,000. So we 3x the gross revenue. And I sold that hotel for almost $1.9 million, so made almost $800,000 in equity in just over a year and a half. And yes, $800,000 of equity in only a year and a half. And I hope your guys' ears perked up at that the way mine did when I first realized the power of this strategy. So this property was 18 units, and it was a mix of studios and 2 bedrooms with a manager's unit that the past owner lived in that we also converted into more of a premium unit with a bedroom and a full kitchen. And when we bought it, it was outdated, it was ugly, it was smelly, run down, all the things that make for a great deal with the right opportunity. If you guys would like to see a lot more in-depth content around my past deals and how I personally like to renovate my boutique hotels, or at least how I did on my last ones, you can go down in the description below and see some of the past video. This is where I've posted some of my hotel deals, like my ones in Panama City Beach, my ones in Tahoe, and check out how those look. Now, just like the jump from single family homes to multifamily properties, the jump from short-term rentals to boutique hotels takes more money. You're no longer buying single family houses with the easy financing options. But with commercial properties like boutique hotels, the purchase prices are gonna be a lot higher. But here's the secret. I've done 6 hotel deals now, and I've used investors or partners on every single one. And I've been able to find deals and then raise money from investors to fund the deals. So you can still get into boutique hotels with little of your own cash. And in an upcoming video in this series, I'll show you how you can find investors, structure your deal, and raise the money to fund it. So be sure to follow along as I give all my secrets that no one else wants to give for free like this. Now, what I love about doing this strategy with boutique hotels is that you can get huge jumps in property values. You might be able to double or even triple the income of a property like I've done with most of mine, which, like I mentioned earlier, is going to create a ton of equity for you and your investors because of the increased property value. And let's look at a contrast between how single family homes are valued and how hotels are valued. So single family homes, because they are residential real estate, the value is based on comparable sales. That means a house is only worth as much as a similar house in the same neighborhood. So if you were valuing a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with 1,500 square feet that was built in 2005, all other things equal, that house is only going to be worth as much as a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with 1,500 square feet that was built in 2005 in that same neighborhood. Now, with boutique hotels, it breaks that mold, which is great for you, because hotels are commercial real estate and your value is based on the net operating income, or the NOI. And investors are who buy commercial real estate. And so the properties are valued by the income they produce. And that is the NOI, which is the gross income minus all your operating expenses, and that's where you sit. And then to get to the value, the market cap rate is applied, usually somewhere between 7 and 10%. Depending on the market and on the quality of the hotel. Like a luxury property in a great market is going to be traded at a lower cap rate than an economy hotel in a tertiary market, for example. So the value of a boutique hotel is the NOI divided by the cap rate. And a hotel with $500,000 in NOI at an 8% cap rate will be valued at $6.25 million. And if you increase the NOI, or if the cap rate goes down, meaning that investors are willing to pay more for the same income stream, then the value goes up, which is especially important in the boutique hotel market today because it's just catching more momentum. When I started investing in boutique hotels 3 years ago, not many people were buying them, and now there's growing demand for this asset class. So if you buy today at a cap rate and demand keeps going like it is today, you might be able to sell that same hotel at a 7% cap rate in the future, which is going to create more value for you. Now, if you bought that property with $500,000 in NOI and the cap rate stayed the same and you were able to increase the NOI to $1 million, which is doubling the NOI and is very reasonable. I've done that at least on all my deals. It's very common to do in the boutique hotel space. Then at that 8% cap rate, that same property would be worth $12.5 million now. By doubling the income, you double the value of the property, and that's the beauty of commercial real estate. So if you've heard of Airbnb investing or already have Airbnbs of your own, you can imagine or know how much time managing the properties can take. One of the amazing reasons to buy boutique hotels is because with the scale of much higher revenue from one single property, the increase in revenue allowed you to take yourself out of the day-to-day management and be able to hire people for roles to manage the property for you. So with residential short-term rentals, you're often just a little too small or a little bit under where you need to be to hire out that role that would give you your time back. You're in this catch-22 of needing to get another house or two to increase your revenue so that you can scale yourself up and out to get to that point of freedom that brought you into the STR space in the first place, but you don't have the time to go out and find and fund and put a whole new deal together. So you kind of get stuck at what I would call this tier 1 level of financial freedom, where you have enough money coming in to replace your W-2 job, but not enough to replace you in the new job that you create for yourself with your business. And you want to take it to the next level, right? To get to that lifestyle that you know is possible, where you can take time off, your business is fine, and where you can travel and manage your business from anywhere and make more without working more. Now, in my experience, investing in boutique hotels is how you jump past that no man's land, or at least how I did it. Instead of working more hours, you do more productive, more valuable work. And I started out with residential short-term rentals and Airbnbs, and it was great cash flow. And I surpassed my W-2 income and, was feeling on top of the world. But the thing is, I was really never able to get myself out of the kitchen, so to speak. And if you're anything like me, you listen to stuff about, outsource this or hire a person for that or think who, not how.
Like, that's awesome, dude. I would love to, but I'm just barely financially free and able to cover my expenses and provide for myself.
And when I got my first boutique hotel deal, I didn't realize at first how much it was going to improve the overall quality of my business and my life because of that. My business got more efficient and made more money while I worked in the business less. And your goal as an entrepreneur should be some version of that, to make more while working less, because that's what a well-run business does. It doesn't need constant attention or input from the owner, but instead continues to service its customers or provide its product because of the team that you build and the systems you put in place. And this video and the ones to follow are to show you how to scale to that point faster within the STR space by getting into boutique hotels and commercial short-term rentals through the path that I took to get there. And one of the best aspects of boutique hotels is that because they are zoned as commercial properties, you don't need to worry about any potential ban of short-term rentals like we're seeing happen all over the country right now. For instance, New York just recently banned all short-term rentals, and similar legislation has happened in the big California markets and in Dallas and Atlanta, and is becoming more and more common all across the country. Like, local governments are finally catching up to this Airbnb regulation, but hotels are zoned for nightly rentals. So you're insulated from that regulation. And what's even better is regulation happening in your market can actually help you. I experienced that in Lake Tahoe, where I own 2 boutique hotels, and shortly after we bought, the city of South Lake Tahoe voted on regulating short-term rentals and instituting permits and limiting them to homeowners only up to 30 days a year. It almost instantly cut out a big chunk of our competitors, and we came out untouched by the regulation because our properties were zoned for nightly rentals because they're hotels. The perk of the zoning really cuts out the worry of investing a bunch of money or raising money from investors only to have your hopes crushed by your area outlawing short-term rentals. Like, nobody wants that. And it makes a good cause for you to go into markets with regulation and look for boutique hotels there. Just because there's less competition doesn't do anything to demand. We exceeded our best expectations in Tahoe because we couldn't have anticipated the regulation that cut everyone else's legs out from under them. But the availability of Airbnbs did not slow down the travel to Tahoe. And the same is true for New York or Dallas or Atlanta or wherever regulation happens next. And it will. These regulating markets aren't seeing reduced travel, and that regulation could lead you to having less competition and more control over your rates and earning more money. So investing in boutique hotels is how you can stay ahead of the curve. At this point, I hope you guys are hyped up for boutique hotels. This asset class has so much untapped potential and so much opportunity to come. It's only just now catching, but the demand and the metrics underlying the strategy are very solid. I went through buying 6 hotels now over the last 3 years and have my best deal under contract now. And from what I've seen, it's getting better because of the macro level things like too much competition on Airbnb and guest expectations on Airbnb changing. If you guys want to get your hands on a free resource to scale your STR portfolio, I've linked in the description my top 5 tips to scaling a 7-figure short-term rental business. Like, these are the things that I've learned through my journey of building a short-term rental business to 6 figures and beyond. And these things make such a huge difference, not just in the quality of your business, but in the quality of your life with being able to manage what would otherwise be a really high touch and high demand business. And if you put the right things in place, you can be just as hands off as any other investment strategy. And I've done it and I've seen it. You just need to know what to do and have the right guide. And that's what I created this resource for you guys for. So go into the link in the description below. And with everything I do, I want to arm you guys with the best information available on boutique hotel investing. So stay tuned for the rest of the series where we'll dive deep into how to find and how to fund and how to operate your boutique hotels and what you should be thinking about before investing. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.